Okay, I think I had my mic on mute for that first intro. But anyway, what's up, everyone? This is France over here from PlayerEssence.com. Welcome to another live stream that I have. I'll be having a Q&A on Xenoblade Chronicles X and a general Q&A. I don't expect this to run too long because it's on Sunday, and probably there's people in Europe that are probably asleep at this point and they can't watch. So really, I just want to get some general questions out of the way. And I know a lot of you guys have already asked me a number of questions on the actual Xenoblade Chronicles page that's on the YouTube page. So if you are watching or just tuning in, I see I don't have many viewers, so you can hit the bottom left-hand corner, says be a part of the conversation. Just click here to join the audience for this hangout. And basically once you click that, you'll be able to go over to the actual page to where you can click at the top of the page and you can see where you can ask your questions. So if you have any questions on Xenoblade Chronicles X, go ahead and do that. So without further ado, and I think I have the Q&A app enabled. I know Terminator Juice was asking me about that, but yeah, it's enabled on the page and it's enabled beforehand. So if there's something going on, I don't know. It's definitely not me. So let me adjust my camera here. So let's go ahead and let's start off. I have a number of questions that people already asked me on the YouTube page, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with that. So this one comes from Turnajon. Okay, hold up. I don't think this is a question. Let me see here. Okay, so this question comes from Phantom Sixth Man. This might be a hard question to answer since you're playing the Japanese version. How are the character interactions between party members and NPCs? It's very Xenoblade Chronicles-ish. It's lighthearted at times. There's some humor, but yeah, it's not. I can't 100% tell because it is in Japanese, but there's definitely good interactions between the two. There's a number of cutscenes, so it's definitely going to be very Xenoblade Chronicles-ish and Japanese RPG-ish. So yeah, I think it's good though. Once we get the English version, we should it should be really good. All right. Next comes from Lawrence Green. Does each class have a max level? Yes, except for yeah, all classes have max levels of 10. From what I understand, even the master classes, but it does take some time because once you have the original class, which is the Drifter, and then from that branches off into 3 other classes, which is the it's like Assault or Command. There's something else at the top, I forgot what it was, and there's another one at the bottom, and then that branches off into 2 more. Each one keeps on branching off. So in total, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 or so different classes, and they all have a max level of about 10. Yeah, of 10, unless there's something else that happens after that. That's what I see. So it's going to take a long time for you to master all the classes, and they all have different weapons and skills and different stuff that you can do there. So for all the new viewers who are just joining in, because I'm seeing people are finally joining in here, if you want to ask a question, just go ahead and hit the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You'll see that yellow annotation there. From there, you can click at the top of the screen. Once that takes you over to the new page, click at the top. You will see the little squares to where you can hit that and ask your question on Xenoblade Chronicles X. So I'm going to continue going with these next questions. This one comes from Ezel Matthewson. How high can you fly in the mech? You can fly super, super, super high. It's really high. You can. I think there's a ceiling, but I haven't tested it out yet. I should have probably done that beforehand, but I just got the mechs. Okay, so I mean, I just haven't had much time. I was trying to hustle to see if I can get the mechs because I mean, this game, like, it's in Japanese, so there's some things I don't know what I need to do, and like I'm running, I can't find it. So I actually have to collaborate with Ayaku. If any of you guys know him, he's one of the guys that translates a lot of the Xenoblade Chronicles stuff. I actually have to send him pictures on my phone, like, hey, what does this say? What do I need to do? Where do I need to go for this one? And even though sometimes there's like a ball that you can follow, like if you press the R button and the X, there'll be like a little guided light. Sometimes it doesn't give you that, like on certain quests, and like you need to gather one of something, and it might be from a certain enemy, and you have no clue I mean, if you can't read Japanese, you have no clue what to do. So I actually have to send pictures to Ayaku, and he has to get back to me. And remember, he lives in Japan, so completely different time zones. You know, like I'm awake, I'm doing stuff, he's asleep. I gotta wait. Then when I go to sleep, he sends me the stuff. So it's kind of slow going back and forth. But yeah, that's that branched off into a whole nother thing. But anyway, next question comes from Brock Davidge. How long does it take to get your scale? That's a weird question because you kind of have to power level or you're going to get bodied. Like you don't have to power level, but you have to level up. And depending on how much you level up, I mean, it can take you 20 to 30 hours, depending on how much other stuff and how many side quests you do. But if you don't do side quests, you'll get bodied. You'll definitely get bodied if you don't do side quests. And for those who don't know, it's a Smash Bros term that people use like when you get destroyed in a match, but I'm using it here in Xenoblade Chronicles X. You will get whooped if you don't at least do a little bit of leveling. So I mean, it can be 20 hours before you get the scale. It could be less, just depending on how you get by. If you're trying to do different classes and stuff like that, you can't just switch the classes and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to go into these missions because you're still weaker. Now, if you just stay as the same class and power level that class and then, just continue going through the game, you might be able to do it that way, but your level is still going to be low and you still might get bodied here and there. So yeah, it can take you up to 30 hours depending, but that's a tough question to answer, to be honest. But it's a good question though. Next question comes from Hugo Captigan. Do the shadows look good? Depends on your opinion. If you're a PS4 or Xbox One guy, you might not think the shadows look good. Or if you have super high expectations, you're playing on PC, you might not think that. But from my background, I'm not like a super graphics guy or anything like that. I'm just like I like good graphics and I think the game looks good. The shadows look good in my opinion, but it's nothing like super crazy, because the game world I would say it's the biggest game world in this generation. Like at this point, there's no other game world that's as big as Xenoblade Chronicles. It's absolutely massive. So I think they had to make cuts here and there as far as like getting the game running, because it runs at a solid 30 frames per second. It looks great. It's in HD. It's in 720p. It's not downscaled. Like a lot of PS3 and 360 games where we're actually sub HD and upscaled to 720p. This one is actually native 720p, then upscaled to 1080p on your television if you have a 1080p television. So it looks good. I think it looks good. Next question comes from Ezel Matthewson. Have you found the edge on the map that you can't go any further? I gotta get this something real quick. No, no, not yet at this point. Next question comes from Ezel Matthewson. So the game 720p, 30 frames per second, like Watch Dogs, that looked like shit. Please tell me they did some type of magic to make it look to make it a little smoother. Well, Watch Dogs doesn't look horrible on the PS4 or Xbox One. Heck, it doesn't look horrible on the Wii U. It's just the problem was that they showed it off and they showed it off on a high like running rig, and like when they first showed it off, it looked really good. Then they showed off this for like the retail version of it, and it was just like, oh man, they really downgraded it. Xenoblade Chronicles, it's a different art style, whereas like Watch Dogs, it's realistic. So since you're looking at like the realistic art style, yeah, it might not look that good. But Xenoblade Chronicles is fantasy, sci-fi, anime. So with that setting, in my opinion, it's easier on the eyes than looking at a game that's like humans, like all humans, no like crazy aliens and stuff like that. They have some crazy stuff in Watch Dogs, but nothing like Xenoblade where there's like warring aliens and factions and all these different type of people that like aren't humans and stuff like that. So in my opinion, it pulls it off the 720p, 30 frames per second. It pulls it off a lot better than Watch Dogs just because the art style is completely different and the game is completely massive. I mean, so it's one of those things. I mean, if you look at like the enemies on Xenoblade Chronicles, like just the art on them, how they're drawn, is just better than Watch Dogs. It's just Watch Dogs isn't drawn very well in my opinion either. So that's my take on it. Next question comes from CD01. I think I probably said that wrong. Seed01. Does the game have something similar to gemstones and the gemstone crafting system? Yes, it does have something similar to the gemstone crafting system. What you can do is you can actually make your own gems to socket into certain weapons, just like Xenoblade Chronicles. So yeah, it does have something very similar. Now it's not quite as annoying to do, like where you're sitting there and doing the little mini game with Shulk and whoever, Dunban and Ryan and all that. It's not as time consuming. This one is just like you have a big list of what you need, of what gems you can create. Once you go into that, and it's right there on your at your Blade home, your home menu, and you just go into there. You just see the ingredients that you need. You just craft the gem, and that's that. There's no mini game or anything like that. So yeah, they took away that. They just made that faster. But yes, there's definitely a gemstone crafting system and stuff like that in this game. Next question comes from Flan76. Are quests as involved and interesting as the dev team said they were? And the Iwata asks, yes, but it's in Japanese, so I can't 100% like tell, but I can just tell that like from the voice acting and from all the different stuff that you have to do, it is very interesting to do the side quests. Now, not all of them are like home run. Like I know like the simple quests, those ones are kind of stupid, but those are just little fetch quests that you can do that are usually just completely optional. The normal quests and the Kizuna quests, which are basically like the affinity stuff from the first game, but in a quest, those ones are very interesting and have you doing multiple tiered stuff. Going around and talking to a lot of people in cutscenes. They almost seem like story quests, to be honest. So those are really good. And then the main quests are fantastic. I don't know if you've if you've got a chance to see on my YouTube, but once this is done, check out my story quest where I infiltrate one of the alien camps. It's great. It's fantastic. And if I can understand what they were saying, it would even be better. But the music, the tension between the characters, like the villains, very, very, very good. Reminds me of Mass Effect at times. And I think this game, there's just some type of thing with this game that reminds me of Mass Effect. I don't know. And I just got my 4th party members. And when it's so crazy the difference between 3 members and 4 members. It's insane. It's insane. It's such a well crafted game with the quests and stuff. But trust me, you're going to love the main story. It's very good. Next question comes from Hugo Captigan. Does the grass have high draw distance? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, it might, but if you're looking for a game that's going to look like, like The Witcher, like running out maxed on PC, that's just not it. The Wii U just isn't. It's just not that type of system. What I can tell you though is that the game world is massive and it looks good for how big the game is. It looks great, considering the game is 5 times bigger than Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, and Xenoblade Chronicles is pretty much bigger than every game out there for the most part, every open world out there. So the fact that is 5 times bigger than that world, and it's completely connected. Like as soon as you get a scale, you can fly anywhere you want. So yeah. Next question comes from Average Smash Gamers. Last question. I hope. Have you found a way to win fights quicker? Is there a way? Yes. Once you level up and you get to a certain point, you really need to take advantage of the crafting system and stuff like that. But here's the thing, guys. The game isn't set up to where you can just hit people like one time and they're dead. You know what I'm saying? It's not set up that way unless you're ridiculously stronger than who you're fighting. If you're fighting someone that's on the same level as you, it's going to be a little bit of a battle. It's going to take a minute or two to fight. Now, there are things you can do. 1, you can get the perfects and make sure you're rehealing. And 2, you can make sure that you follow all the conditions of the attacks that you do. So debuffs are a big thing, lowering somebody's defense, then hitting them like on the side to get the bonus critical hit damage, or when your partner calls out a soul voice, which is when they say like, hey, use this technique, it'll be flashing. Use that technique, recover a little bit of health, and possibly up your soul meter to where you can do more damage and do debuffs and stuff like that. So really, if I knew what I was doing with the battle system, like if I can just read all the Japanese, I'd be able to even finish fights faster, because then I can look through all my skills and know exactly what each skill or art, sorry, I can know exactly what each art does. And also you have a skill menu to where you can assign skills per each class. And if I knew what those did, you can level those ones up as well. And I could possibly even finish fights faster, but I won't be able to do that in the Japanese version since I just don't know what they do. And there's so many, there's no way I can ask Ayuku, like, hey, can you translate every single one of these? Like, I'm not going to ask him to do that. So yeah, it is what it is. I see that nobody's asking any questions, and I know I have the Q&A app enabled. So I don't know, maybe if you put them on the actual YouTube page, if you can't ask me questions on there, because it seems like some people are having trouble, put them on the actual YouTube page and I'll be refreshing it because I'm almost done with the initial questions here. Next question comes from Average Smash Gamers. While playing with the Pro Controller, do you have to use the gamepad for its functions at all times, or do you have the choice to use it or not? This is the one that I tried to test out, but I can't read Japanese. There might be an option to like, let's say you're playing with the Pro Controller and then like you can access your map to where you can fast travel and all that without the Wii U gamepad, but unfortunately I do not know where that option is. I'm pretty sure that there is one, but using the gamepad and using the Pro Controller, it's not a bad way of doing things, because you're never really going to have to like use your gamepad like to access the map all the time. Really, you're just going to use it to fast travel and see certain things. So it'd be almost like pressing a pause button. But if you're using the Wii U gamepad, you just have it right there. It's very convenient. It's a very good gamepad usage. I think it's very good. It's just, I do need to find the option to where I can just like access the map through my menu. I don't know how to do that at this point. And I tried, I looked through certain things, but I don't know all the stuff like in the options. It's all in Japanese, so I don't know. Next question comes from Average Smash Gamers. What's the best way to level up, and how important is it to battle while walking around to level up? The best way to level up is to find enemies at your level. That's the best way. You want to make sure that when you're leveling up, you fight efficiently. And by fighting efficiently, I'm saying getting the soul voices, doing, making sure you pay attention to when you do critical hits, how you do critical hits, making sure you do all of that is very good. That's the best way to level up. Fight enemies your level and beat them as quickly as possible by doing, getting the perfects, finding out when to get critical hits, making sure you have a good combination of skills set up, making sure that you're leveling up those skills once you get your class up. So it's just stuff like that. And it's very important to battle while you're walking around, because the last thing you want to do is you don't want to get bodied later in the missions, you know. So when you're walking around and when you're, you know, when you're going from quest to quest, I would suggest, like, when you guys finally get this game, don't just fast travel everywhere. Like, if it's not that far away, just run over there and fight people on the way, do your quest, and if you want to fast travel back, go ahead. But there has been plenty of times where I just ran. I just completely ran across the whole map and fought the whole way through, which is why I have so many hours logged. But that's good though, because you'll build up your class levels, you'll build up your level, and really it's one of those things that you'll find things. It's exploration. Like, as you're going through like the field, you'll find kazunas, which are basically those yellow objects on screen to where you can press the A button and you can get like an item from there, or it's like experience and stuff like that, and money, and you'll find those littered all over the place. So it's very good to walk around and explore and fight things. I mean, you can get completely sidetracked. There could be like a cave where there's tons of treasures in there. You're like, okay, and there's a bunch of enemies that are at your level, and you're like, okay, let me fight these. But you also have to be careful, because this game, it doesn't just say, okay, well, here's the level 1 area and the enemies all here at this level. Here's the level 2 area and all the enemies at this level. As soon as you walk out into the world, you'll see enemies that are level 5, you'll see enemies that are level 10, you'll see enemies that are level 40, you'll see enemies that are level 55, and some of them, if they see you, they will attack. So you have to be very careful, and I like that about this game, that they just don't say like, okay, well, this area only has weak enemies. It's like, there can be strong enemies anywhere, you know. There can be strong enemies just rolling around. There can be level 14 enemies with level 20 something enemies. So I mean, usually there's grouping sometimes where they're all around the same level, but I like how they mix it up, you know, where there's lots of different enemies and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. All right, so those are all the questions that I've answered. I'm going to go ahead and reload this page, and I'm going to see if there's any more new questions, and I'm pretty sure there are newest questions. Okay, so next question comes from Malachi. Is it Malachi? think it's Malachi Edwards. When you get a skill, will you be trying to like get weapons and maxing out your skill, or just exploring things out in your skill? Well, I do both. You know, you're trying to fight. You want to get the you want to get stuff, but at the same time, when you get your skill, it's like you fly around, you explore, you fight, you do a mix of both. So for me, you do a lot of both. Next question comes from Bart Vandenberg. If you fight a lot, does it get boring, or do you still enjoy it to fight? I still enjoy it to fight because it's you can change classes and there's so many different weapons and you're still trying to figure things out. Some people might think it might get a little boring, but that's when you actually do quests. Like, make sure you do the quest, make sure you're leveling up your weapons, make sure you're trying out different things. If you think a certain playstyle is boring, like let's say you're a shield battler, if you think that's boring, go ahead and switch to a commander class, like with the dual guns and like the pistol, or if you think dual guns and the dual swords. If you think that's boring, if you think that like it's too slow to attack, switch to a class that has daggers, because daggers are really quick, so you can continually hit them with your dagger and then do something else. So really, I don't think it gets boring, and especially once you get your skill, that really changes things up too. So there's enough variety within the missions and the quests to where you shouldn't get bored with fighting. And if you do get bored with fighting, you can always just explore. You can level up just exploring. Believe it or not, like there's times where I just run past enemies and I just look for explorations. And anytime you discover a new area, which there's a ton of new areas, you get experience points. So you can level up just exploring the lands. So yeah. Next question comes from C Fine Coco. Who are the American voice actors? I have no idea. Next question comes from Kevin James. Not asking how much you make, but do you make a good living off your regular job? My day job, yeah, I make a good living off my day job. It's a normal, it's a 9 to 5:30 job, and I make enough to where I can afford my place, and I don't live paycheck to paycheck. I'm not rich. By no means I'm not rich. I mean, definitely not rich, but I make enough to where, sometimes my paycheck goes in my bank account and I'm like, oh, I gotta do all this. Like, I gotta pay these bills. I gotta do this. Like, I'm not freaking out and I'm not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. I used to, back when I just ran PlayerEssence, like the money was real tight then. But now that I run PlayerEssence and I have my day job, I'm comfortable. Let's just put it that way. But I'm not rich. Let me just say that again. I'm not rich, nor am I complacent, like, okay, well, I want to stop and I don't want to make more. I always want to do better. I always want to strive to do more, for my daughter and stuff. So, but yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Next one comes from Cold Dark. How was the frame rate? 30 frames per second, pretty solid. Really haven't experienced any dips, in my opinion. I think there was one time it might have dipped, but I think it was because of my hard drive, not because of the actual game. All right, so I'm pretty sure there's probably more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and reload the page. I don't know why the question app isn't working, guys. I'm sorry about that, but it should be. Let's take a look here. Newest first. Okay. Bart Vandenberg, what is your favorite class? So far, my favorite class, I forgot what they're called. It's the top class, but it's the class going upward. But I do like the command class. I think the command, like what Elma is from the beginning with the dual guns, that class is cool. So one of those two. I forgot what the other one is. It's like you carry around a machine gun and you carry around a sword, and that's a cool class. So yeah, let me see if I can get some more. Okay, here's another question. From Kimmerson777. What color scheme is your skill going to be? Black and white. Excuse me. Next question comes from. Okay, so I'm going to go on here because I see questions from people, but okay, Cold Dark. No one wants to be rich, from Review Tech USA. What? What are you talking about? You guys all know that Rich is my favorite freaking YouTuber. Come on, stop this. He loves PlayerEssence. I mean, didn't you see the video that he made on ours, on my site? Oh, me and Richard were best friends. All right, next question comes from Terminator Juice. Question number 1. Okay, we have some questions coming into the Q&A app. Good, it works. Okay, so guys, if you want to answer, or if you want me to answer more questions, please hit the button on the bottom left. You'll see the be a part of the conversation. Go there, then hit the squares at the top, and you'll be able to ask your questions, because I see some questions filling out here. Okay, so this one comes from Terminator Juice. Terminator Juice, okay, let me just say this real quick, guys. Okay, so Terminator Juice, he's a part of the PE network. Make sure you go over to his page and subscribe. He's creeping up on 1,000 subscribers, and the faster that we can get him there, that'll be better for everyone. That'll probably mean more content and better content from his part. So please go over to Terminator Juice's channel and subscribe to Terminator Juice. Awesome YouTuber, runs a really good, probably the most consistent Mario Kart 8 tournaments out there, and very good, very, very, very good tournaments. So make sure you check out Terminator Juice's channel. So now that my promo is over, let's go ahead and answer Terminator Juice's question. Question number 1, did you download the game? If so, what's the full file size? Okay, I did download the game because I didn't want to wait to import the copy from PlayAsia, because that would have took a couple days. So most people who are playing the game have it downloaded, and that's the best way to play the game, is download it. Now, when I downloaded it, the full size is 22 gigabytes once you download it, 22.7. But then after you install it, it actually goes down to 20 gigabytes. So it reduces the, it's 22 gigabytes when you first download it. And then once you install it onto your hard drive, which also takes a long time, then it goes down to 20 gigabytes. So it's massive. Question number 2, what advice would you give an RPG noob like myself to succeed in the early goings of the game? Really, the game pushes you along to where if you are an RPG noob, it will walk you through it. It basically, they know that there's going to be a lot of RPG noobs playing this game, because Nintendo doesn't make a ton of RPGs on consoles. Okay, they make a lot on handhelds, but they don't make a lot on consoles. So I think they knew that, and it will walk you through. Some of the early advice that I would give you is that don't ignore the side quests. A lot of people, when they're noobs, they just say, okay, well, I'm just going to play the main quest, because they, you think of it as like an action game, or like any other, normal, like a Kirby or something like that. And don't play it like that. Like, when you see side quests, when you see other stuff to do those things. Don't just do the main quest. And that's where a lot of people run into problems. Let me see on my phone here. Okay. Especially RPG noobs. So make sure you do the side quests, and make sure you catch on to don't ignore debuffs. That's one thing I see with noobs, like RPG noobs, like they just want to attack. They don't want to worry about defense or debuffs. Make sure you do debuffs, and you'll learn about debuffs actually in the game. Lowering your enemies, like defense, lowering their attack, stuff like that. That stuff's really important in RPGs. So those are the tips that I would give you. Okay, so I have some questions here in the Q&A app. This one comes from Ezel Matthewson. How long does it take to explore one continent? Sorry for spelling. I understand. I'm not a grammar Nazi or anything like that. How long does it take? The continents are all different sizes, and it really depends. If you have a Skell, it's pretty quick. But if you're running on foot, it's going to take you. Well, I mean, you said explore, so that means actually doing things. Like, if you're actually exploring and fighting and doing things, it'll take you forever. I mean, I'm still not done exploring the first continent. I mean, it'll take you hours. It'll take you oh my God, you could spend 15 hours exploring one continent if you want to get like every little thing and do the data probes. I mean, it's massive. I mean, this game, the content I've never seen this much content in an HD game. Like, I'm being completely honest here. This is the most content I've ever seen in an HD era game. So like, Xbox 360, PS3. I know the PS2 could do HD sometimes, and I know the original Xbox could do HD on some games, but the real HD era, this is the most content I've seen in a game. I mean, this is insane, the amount of content. This has more content than Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. So it's crazy. You can spend a lifetime in here. And sorry to not get anything specific, but I mean, that's really, it's crazy. Next question. How is the online play? Okay, so this is a fantastic question. This online play is so unique it's so, I don't understand all of it because it's in Japanese, but from what I do understand and from what I see going on, it's very good. So let's talk about the features first. So I'm going to talk about online play. So this is online quest. This is the shared 32-man world. This is the squad quest. This is the Miiverse integration, all of that. So when there's Miiverse, like when people do certain things, they post the Miiverse, and you can actually see a little icon that's on the left-hand side that pops up that says this person said this in Miiverse. You can go to that post. You can like that post. You can do certain things right in the game. It actually pops up on your screen. It's called social stuff. So whenever people get achievements, you'll see anybody in your squad that you join, okay? Because like at the beginning of the game, like before you even go into your menu, when you boot up the game, once you get past a certain point into the game, it'll basically introduce the online portion. And then like when you boot up the game again, you'll actually be able to join a squad right from the very beginning. Before you even get into your game, you join the squad, and then you had your squad ready to go. So that's 32 players in there. And once you're in the squad, you can do squad quests. Like let's say you guys need to take out these certain monsters in an hour's worth of time. So you can play your game, do what you want to do, and then just make sure you guys can all work together to take out all the monsters. And if you do that, you guys get a big bonus boost to experience and the conquest mode that they have in there. Now, I don't understand everything with it because it's in Japanese, but those aspects are really cool. It makes it feel like you are really in a military organization, because what it's trying to simulate is trying to simulate a real a military organization where other members are in there and you guys are all working together to enhance Blade, which is the part that you're on. So I really like that. I really like that about it. I also like, as far as the online quest, I've done one online quest with another person, like a 4-player, like little beginning quest. It's good. It's smooth, runs well. There's no voice chat though, which is it's kind of a downer that there's no voice chat, but there's ways to communicate. Like if you need to say something to somebody, you can put in a message right there on your Wii U gamepad with the keyboard. So, but here's the thing, at least at this point, it would be okay that there's no voice chat because everybody who I'm playing with is Japanese. So if there was voice chat, it wouldn't really matter at this point for me. But of course, when the game comes out, that's a little bit of a downer, but you can still communicate just fine with the keyboard on the gamepad. You can send messages to whoever you want. Once you send a message, it'll go up to everybody, so you can put the person's name right in there. Or if you have a USB keyboard, you can use it that way as well. But yeah, really, to be honest, like when you play online quests, it's pretty straightforward what you do. There's nothing that's like, okay, you guys have to do this, this, and this. It's like when you play online with other people, they know exactly what to do if they've been playing the game, because you don't get to go online until a certain point in the game. So once you get to a quest, everybody has their roles. They know what to do. I mean, it's not like you have to do anything. It'd really just be talking with your friends and stuff. But overall, the online is very good. It's smooth. It plays very well. I didn't have any problems even with Japanese players. But all the social features and all the stuff that's in the game is just outstanding. I like what they've done with the online play. It really feels like a connected world. It really feels like you're never alone when you're playing the game. You can turn off that stuff too. Just to let you guys know, you don't have to have the pop-ups of the social and all that stuff. You don't have to have that at all. You can turn all that stuff off. You can also, as far as the online play goes, anybody in your squad, a number of characters will show up actually in your game. So basically like a clone of those characters of who's in your squad. And you can actually hire those people to fight on your team for a short, or not for a short period, but for a set duration of time, and then they'll go back. So you can actually hire people from online and go in there. Plus, if you're out in the field, there'll be people that are also playing online. And if you want, you can hire those people from there. So it's really, it's really good online. It's some of the best online on the Wii U. Yeah, I would probably say it's the most in-depth online game on the Wii U, and that even counts from third-party developers. Like, there's no other game on the Wii U that has online play like this. This is very different, very fun. Next question comes from Terminator Juice. What words would you have for someone who claims to be a huge RPG fan but doesn't buy Xenoblade Chronicles X, especially the Wii U haters? They're really missing out. I mean, if you don't buy this game, I don't I don't know. I mean, this game, if you like RPGs, you should have a Wii U in this game. It's well worth the purchase. I mean, even if it's just for this one game, the reason why I say it's well worth the purchase is because it has online play. Okay, it has so many quests to where you're going to be playing this game you could be playing this game for years. I mean, honestly, with the online quests, with the conquest mode, which I don't know much about, but that's going to add new quests all the time, with just all the different stuff that you can do in the game, plus the DLC. I think this is worth buying a Wii U just if you're an RPG fan. If you miss out on there because you hate the Wii U, that's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because this is a really good game and it should be played by everyone, in my opinion. It should be played, but there are going to be people who miss out on it. That's why I hope Nintendo and Monolith Soft, they get somebody to port this one to the NX. I really think that this would be good to port the game to the NX as well. Just so people who missed out on certain Wii U games because they hate the system, and if Nintendo kind of turns things around with the NX, I think it would be good to get a port of this game, just a basic port of the game or have it digital to where you can just download it digitally. That's what I would like. Next question. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit here. Next question comes from I'm Viral. I will need to play Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii/new Nintendo 3DS to understand anything in the new Xenoblade for Wii U story mode, and will you buy Xenoblade when it releases in America once it's translated? Okay. No, if you do not need to play Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii to understand anything in this game. This is not a direct sequel. It's a spiritual successor to Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. It takes the foundations of that game, some of the stuff that it did, and it takes it and it says, okay, yeah, here's Xenoblade Chronicles, which is still very high. Here's other RPGs released. Okay, here's Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii and new Nintendo 3DS, and here's Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's off you can't even see my hand. It's off the top of the charts. Xenoblade Chronicles X blows out Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. And the Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii is one of the greatest RPGs of all time. Xenoblade Chronicles is a far better game. So not only do you not need to understand, chances are you'll probably like this one a lot more. So nope, you don't need to play the other one or anything like that. There's a couple little things here and there, like for instance, like on Rin, she has like Monado clips, in her hair, and the Monado was the main sword and Shulk's sword in that. So there's really nothing major. Next one comes from Terminator Juice. Do you feel there's a chance that Nintendo holds the game until the holiday season so they fill the void by Zelda? Of course there's a chance. Of course. There's always a chance Nintendo holds the game. Nintendo's been holding games. I think Yoshi's Woolly World is ready. That game is ready, but they're holding it. Yoshi's Woolly World is ready. Don't sit here and tell me that Yoshi's Woolly World is still being worked on and it's releasing in Europe on June 26th, and we're getting it in the fall. Wait a minute. Hold up. You're telling me the European version that needs to be translated to like 55 different languages is ready before the North American version that needs to be translated to basically 1 or 2 languages, English and Spanish? GTOF Nintendo. GTFO Nintendo. I mean, come on, man. I mean, yeah, they're holding on to it. Nintendo, I mean, this generation, Nintendo's been holding on to stuff because they have zero third-party support. I mean, Nintendo's not zero third-party support, but they have just such limited third-party support is that they have to strategically place their games. Otherwise, they will have droughts. And even then, it's still hard. But yeah, they're holding on to it. They're holding on to Yoshi's Woolly World till fall for North America. Till fall. But that's the reason why I think that Nintendo is released. I think it's going to release June. And that's why E3 it's really an American trade show. It's an American trade show where really it's for North America. And I think they're going to announce the release date at E3 for later that June. They're going to, hey, guess what? You're going to be able to play this game on June this. I think they're going to release it in that same time slot. So Yoshi's Woolly World is coming out on June 26th in Europe. I think America gets Xenoblade Chronicles X on June 26th. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Xenoblade Chronicles, you have to there's so much dialogue and text and everything. The European version, I think it's gonna be delayed, or it's gonna have to wait, because there's no way they're going to be able to translate all of that text. There's so much text in there in all those different languages for Europe, you know, in time, like in June. That's why Yoshi's Woolly World is coming out first there. So, I mean, that's what I think. And that's why I think we're getting Xenoblade sooner than them. And that's why they just basically swapped Xenoblade and Yoshi's Woolly World, in my opinion, for Europe and North America. So I think that's what's going on. But yeah, but to answer your question, and go in depth more on your question, Terminator. Yeah, it's very possible that they say, okay, well, let's hold on to it for, you know, for the fall. But I don't think that would be a good idea, just because Nintendo has Mario Maker that's coming out more towards the fall. Nintendo has Star Fox, which is probably going to be more of a fall title. These are Nintendo titles that fans kind of know of. You know what I'm saying? And then you always have the kicker. You have Devil's Third. And you also have Yoshi's Woolly World. Okay, so all of those games are not Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's 4 games. So exactly where would you release Xenoblade Chronicles X in North America in the fall? Between all of them, are you gonna? I mean, what game is going to be sooner? What game is going to be later? We know Nintendo's not going to release many games over the summer. I don't think they're going to sit here and drop like Devil's Third and all these games on the summer. I mean, they might, but who knows? I think those are going to be fall titles. Mario Maker's a fall title. Yoshi's Woolly World's a fall title. Devil's Third is a fall title. Star Fox is a fall title. Those are 4 games for the fall. That's September, August, you know, November, whatever. So I think that we'll get Xenoblade Chronicles more sooner than later. So that's my theory. Next question goes, how does this game compare to the Final Fantasy 15 demo? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Final Fantasy isn't in the class of Xenoblade Chronicles X. That demo, at least the demo version, it's not in the same class, because this is a finished. I shouldn't have laughed like that. This is a finished product, and that demo is not. It's like that was like a 60% complete. The frame rate in that demo, I mean, trust me, it's fun, but the frame rate is trash. The frame rate, the responsiveness of the buttons, not good. The loading time, ooh, baby. The loading time just to get into the world. The density, the enemy variety. There's just not enough enemy variety. There's just not as much stuff going on in the world. It's just, there's no comparison. Xenoblade Chronicles, but remember, this is a finished game versus a demo. But battle system wise, Xenoblade Chronicles battle system trashes Final Fantasy's action battle system. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like I'm just being completely biased, you know, because I love Xenoblade but these guys who made Xenoblade Chronicles X, they're the guys who used to make all of the good Final Fantasy games, okay? They're the guys who worked on Chrono Trigger. They're some of the guys that worked on Secret of Mana. These guys know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Square Enix, have they known what they're doing with Final Fantasy? When was the last time they knew what they're doing with Final Fantasy? I mean, this game, Final Fantasy, it looks like it's taking the right steps, but compared to Xenoblade, compared to the tight-knit group that have made this game, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. So doesn't mean Final Fantasy 15 is going to be a bad game, and I'm still looking forward to it. Still got it pre-ordered. Gonna play the heck out of it, but there's no comparison. All right, next question comes from Smooth Ice. I know that you haven't finished the game yet, not even close, but comparing it with Xenoblade Chronicles, don't you think 5 continents is limited and a hit on variety and scenery? I really hope that there are more than 5 continents. I'm expecting at least double DLC. Here's the thing. You're thinking about it in a wrong way. You're thinking about it from the very basic term, like, oh, well, there's only 5. 5 is not a lot. What you need to think about is within those continents, how big they are. Xenoblade Chronicles X is 5 times bigger than Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. That's one thing you really have to know. And not that, but it's a true open world. Xenoblade Chronicles would fit in a small section. Like all of Xenoblade Chronicles is basically about one continent. Not even one, about half of a continent in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade Chronicles X is so much bigger. than Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. The variety between them, it's not just how it looks. The mountains, the vistas, there's beaches. So there's variety within each continent. They don't just all look the same. You're going to see different terrains. You're going to see beaches. You're going to see lakes. You're going to see rivers. You're going to see canyons. When you go to the jungle level, you're going to see lush jungles. You're going to see swamps. You're going to see tons of variety. There's a volcanic level. There's a desert area. Trust me, it's not just like, okay, like, oh, this is just the same thing. Like, from what you've seen, it looks like that. But trust me, once you get the full game, it actually destroys Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii as far as variety goes. Xenoblade Chronicles, it's really like Gaur Plains, and then you have some of the other like smaller areas, but they're not really a connected open world. It's not a real open world. The only part that really is Gaur Plains for the most part, and then some of the other later parts. But this has like dungeons, it has caves, all of that's within the game. Trust me, there's you don't need continent DLC. I mean, to be honest, you don't need continent DLC, and it's definitely not limited. Trust me, when you get your hands on the full game, you're not going to be saying more continents. You're going to be saying it's going to take me forever to explore these continents. Remember, I'm 25 hours in, and I'm nowhere near. I think I'm 20% explored on the one continent. 20% explored on one continent. So trust me, dude, like, you don't want continent DLC. That would just be like, they need to wait on that, because people have been playing the game for 100 hours and still don't have 100% complete with all the continents. So yep. Next question comes from Ezel Matthewson. Do you think they will add new parts to Planet Mirror for DLC? They could, but guys, I'm telling you, really, I don't know why people are worried about this as far as the area. It's huge. It's massive. It's the biggest current generation open world that we've seen ever. I mean, there's no other game that has more open world and more areas and more locales than Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, I think they could add DLC for more parts to Planet Mirror in the future, but I would want that to come like next year, or I'd want that to come like late fall. I mean, really depending on when the game launches. I mean, I would probably say, yeah, next year. Maybe Japan late this year, and then for everywhere else next year. Next question comes from Bart Vanderberg. Does the software which makes the loading time quicker really helps? Yes. I would go with the digital version of this game, but you can also get the physical version. But I'm crazy, so I buy, like, certain games, I'll buy the digital and physical version. And but yeah, the digital version, if you have a big hard drive, you should just download the game. You'll be good. You're going to be playing it a lot, so you probably don't want to be worried about switching out discs like with Smash Bros or something, or whatever other game, Super Mario 3D World or Mario Maker. So you probably just want to download the game digitally. And yes, the loading times are very fast, very, very fast loading times. Can you turn off the entire HUD? Possibly. It's probably in the options section, but you need to be able to see your skills. So no, you won't be able to turn off everything, because you have to see your skills on the screen. There might be an option to where you can have your skills on the gamepad, but not on the big TV. But once again, I don't know the Japanese settings, so no way I can tell. Terminator Juice says that's the reaction I was hoping for. I think that was in when I talked about Final Fantasy. Yeah, I don't want to be crude or anything, but it is what it is. Okay, this is a good question. Are you worried that playing the Japanese version will make playing the NA game a bit redundant? Yes, I'm a tad bit worried about that, but I don't understand what's going on in the story at all, really. So it won't be super redundant. But yeah, some of the quests are definitely going to feel a little redundant, and that's going to kind of be like, meh. But I don't plan on beating the whole game. I just plan on playing enough to where I get my fill, and really, till I get my fill, and then I'll stop at some point. Once Splatoon comes, okay, let me just say something. Once Splatoon comes out, I'm not going to be playing Xenoblade Chronicles X that much anymore. I'm going to really stop playing it. I'm just playing it because Nintendo didn't release anything else, and I've just been playing Smash Bros. Like crazy. So I just kind of wanted to play something else. So once Splatoon comes out, I'm really gonna stop. I'm gonna start getting into Splatoon. I'm gonna start getting into Mario Kart more and doing tournaments. I'm gonna be running tournaments for Smash Bros, Splatoon, and Mario Kart coming up pretty soon here. And then we have E3 coming up, so I'm really gonna be working more. So I'm really gonna at some point just stop playing because yeah, I don't want everything to feel so redundant, you know. Next question comes from Bart Vanderberg. How does the vehicle mode with your Skell, or how is the vehicle mode with your Skell? It's fun. It's fun. Okay, I think we have some more questions here. Yeah, I'm going to get into this so we can answer some more questions because some of them aren't populating on here. So let's see here. We got Nintendo Ultra in the house. What up, Nintendo Ultra? He just puts a stupid smiley face that he always does. That dude's crazy, man. That dude's crazy. I want to know how much Nintendo Ultra. How much do you weigh? Can you put that in the comment section? How much you weigh? I don't think you weigh more than 115 pounds. I mean, maybe 120 with your sweater on. I just want to know how much you weigh, bro. And I want to know what your diet is because I need to lose a few pounds. All right, next question comes from Revolution. Have you messed around enough with the character creator to see if it's possible to make Shulk look alike? Also, does the game have amiibo support? If not, do you think it'll be added as a free update? Okay, so let's get to your first question. I think there's a potential way to make your character look like Shulk, but I don't know if there's anything that's completely full blown. I haven't messed around with it enough. I just want to play the game, so I just picked a black dude with long hair. Also, does the game have amiibo support? No, it does not have amiibo support from what I can see. It might, but I don't think so. And yes, I do think that there will be a free update in the future for it. Next question comes from XPac Marine. My question is, do you think GTA 6 will take place in Baltimore due to the riots? Whoa. Touchy. Too soon, bro. Too soon. I don't care where GTA takes place. GTA should... It's never taking place on Wii U. I know that. The Nintendo system. I don't play GTA games. I don't like them. Next question comes from Alex BioRock78 Vasquez. So far, what do you think about the OST of Xenoblade? It's freaking awesome. Next question comes from Malachi Edwards. What are the added bonuses that we didn't have on Xenoblade Chronicles that is in this game? Okay, well, I think I've answered a number of stuff on this, but let's go ahead and let's talk about that. So the biggest thing about this game is that it has probably the biggest switch is the guns. The fact that you have guns and you have weapons, and the variety within those weapons is massive. So you can be farther away from enemies and start shooting and start up your soul voice, which was different from Xenoblade Chronicles, where once you hit that button, you could do a soul voice to the beginning, but you have to get real close. This one, you can start from farther away. So that instantly feels different that you have guns and you have swords. Another thing that's really cool about the differences between it, or bonuses, is that the mechanics. So one of the cool things that you can do, and you can really exploit the auto attack battle system, because just like in Xenoblade Chronicles, like you have a certain amount of time before you attack again. In this game, they tell you the time. So some weapons have a recast time of 2.7 seconds. Some of them have 2 seconds. Some of them have 1.5 seconds. And what you can do is you can essentially take a slow weapon, for instance, like a gun that's powerful, like a big, powerful, like machine gun, and you can pair that with a dagger. And some of the daggers, they do little damage, but the recast time is 0.8 seconds. So what you can do is you can shoot your gun that might have a recast time of 3.2 seconds, which is really long. If you just leave your gun out, it's going to take you forever again before you shoot again. But what you can do is you can shoot your gun, quickly switch to your dagger, get 2 attacks in about 1.6 seconds, because the recast time is really quick, okay? And then you can switch right back to your gun and shoot it again. So therefore, you completely almost break the recast time, the 3 point something seconds recast time, because it'll be quicker, and that creates a flow of battle and bonuses that we didn't see in Xenoblade Chronicles. Another thing that's very different from Xenoblade Chronicles is the fact that in that game you can switch characters. In this game you can't switch characters, but the reason why you can't switch characters is because you can be every single class of your other characters that you carry with you. So for instance, Elma, she is a command class. Well, if you want to be a command class, you can be the command class as well. So you do not have to switch to her. You can just switch over to a command class if you want to. And that creates a different dynamic as well. Plus the classes in general. Xenoblade Chronicles, a character was a character, and you just basically leveled up their arts. That was that. You couldn't change any of the skills that they had. They learned a set path. Whereas in Xenoblade Chronicles X, you have different classes, and those classes each give you different skill sets, bonuses, powers, and abilities. So the fact that you can have that just completely changes the formula of Xenoblade Chronicles. And like I said, it takes it from being right here to being up top here, because you're going to be so entertained with all the different stuff that you can do with your character. And that is before you even get scales. Okay, scales have their own parts, armor, vehicle, vehicle parts, different things you can add, super weapons, construction of weapons. There's so many different things between the people, humans, and the scales. It feels like Xenoblade because of the arts and everything, but then at the same time, the mechanics are almost completely different. Now, there are some things that cross over, but those are some of the bonuses that you will see in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, it takes a little bit of time to get into everything, but once you do get into it, you're going to see so many different things that Xenoblade Chronicles X does over Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. I also will add to the whole fact that since you are part of the military, and since that you have the online play, and that connectiveness really makes it just feel so much more complete, and makes it feel like the big open world RPG that we've always wanted on the Wii U, and we'd want, and we would want. So yeah, it's a very, very good. Let's see here. I see another one here. It says, do you plan on getting more? This is from Terminator. Do you plan on getting more games for your Japanese Wii U? Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Emblem once that comes out. When the English version comes out, will you be going online and trying to pick up people and battle monsters you can't battle alone? Yeah, and this is from Malachi Edwards. Yeah, I'm going to have a PlayerEssence crew, so you guys can all join. Next question comes from Regard Vizgi, or I don't know how to say it. Question: any enemy villages / small towns except for NLA? Yeah, there's some stuff, but that's like spoiler territory, so I'm going to just, but yeah, kind of. What are the added bonuses? Okay, we already talked about that. Okay, next question comes from Terminator Juice. Okay, this one's a controversial one, I think. What is your take on the controversy of Lynn being 13 and having sexy outfits in the game? Do you think Nintendo will make her older for the NA version? I think it's not an issue, but for some people it's inappropriate. No, it's not an issue. I don't really have any comment on that, other than like I saw some people say, oh, it's against the law or something like that. It's not against the law for a teenager to wear a bikini. There's no laws that say teenagers can't wear a bikini or anything like that. Not saying that I want to see that or anything, but there's no laws saying that they can't wear that. So I mean, I don't really understand what people saying it's like breaking the law. I mean, I know some people say it's inappropriate, which is, it's like whatever. It's not an issue to me. If your mind's in the gutter, then that's why you might take some issue with it. But if you feel that she's 13 and you think that she shouldn't be wearing that, then you have the option. There's no like hooking up. Now, if there was like hooking up and stuff like that between characters, then I'd say, yeah, that might be inappropriate, because you're insinuating that there's going to be like, you're dressing them in those outfits and there's like hooking up and stuff like that, and that would be bad. But there's none of that in this game. So in my opinion, it's a non-issue, and it's like, it's drama queens being drama queens. That's really what it is. And some of the stuff that I've heard about is like being against the law. That's ridiculous. There's no law saying that a 13-year-old can't wear a bikini. What kind of stupidity is that? Like in a video game? Like, it's dumb. But anyway, my mind's not in the gutter, and I'm not thinking about that. And there's no like sexual type of stuff going on like between characters, so I don't think it's an issue at all, in my opinion. All right, so next one comes from Terminator Juice, are you concerned at all about the English voice acting being bad? Do you think that there will be an option to have English subtitles along with Japanese voices? I think there'll be an option for those, although if they do, here's the thing. If they do that, it's going to make the size of the game way bigger because all that dialogue translated out, I mean, if they include the Japanese voice track, it's going to make the download size is going to be bigger. So they might not do that. It's already massive. I mean, if you count the install packs and then if you count dual audio tracks, oh my goodness, that is going to be one huge install install size. So I'm not worried about the voice acting being bad because the voice acting for Xenoblade Chronicles wasn't bad. So I'm not worried about the voice acting for this game being bad. Next one comes from Smooth Ice. Can you tell me more about the special combat modes? Don't know the names exactly. Overdrive mode, cockpit dolls. If you have a doll, do you miss the special modes like the future prediction ability from the Monado? Okay, I can tell you more about that. So like the overdrive mode and the OC mode, those ones basically give you like super like powered up attacks, and really it lets you charge it like 3 times or something like that. I haven't dabbled too much in it, and with the overclock mode or overdrive mode of the with the scales, that one is kind of sometimes like it's pretty cool because sometimes like randomly you'll go into like a first person view cockpit mode and like you can kind of aim and shoot, but it's really nothing crazy. I mean, it's really nothing that's like the core mechanics of the game are what really makes it stand apart, not those extra things. Plus, I don't want too many spoilers, so I won't talk about those too much. But yeah, and do I miss the special mode like you have the future prediction of the ability from the Monado? No, I don't, because the Monado, that is tied around the story of the game. The Monado is tied around the story. Okay, with this game, it never introduced anything like that, so I don't miss it. It introduces different concepts and new things and new stuff. So no, I don't miss that at all. And it's funny because a lot of times, like I'll actually pick Dunban when I play Xenoblade Chronicles. So there was times where I didn't even feel like using Shulk at all. I just used Dunban because he has a haste to where you can just freaking go crazy and start attacking people. So yeah. All right. So next question comes from Terminator Juice. Does playing X make the original game obsolete now? No, because they're different. Like I put together, they are different. Xenoblade Chronicles X is far better than Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii and the new Nintendo 3DS. But this new on the new Nintendo 3DS, it's portable, so that's really cool. So it's a different style of game, and they're similar, but there's so many differences between the two. I don't think it makes it obsolete, and I still think it's worth playing. But at the same time, Xenoblade Chronicles X is just so much better. Excuse me. Next question comes from Terminator Juice. Okay, yeah, am I looking at getting any more Japanese games? Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei, I answered that one. How high can you fly in the mechs? Really high, super high. So yeah, I'm going to take one more round of questions at the bottom of the page here. Okay, so I have another one. I see some more questions, so let's go ahead and let's get those out of the way. George Munoz, does the game look good being able to 1080p because the game is 720p? Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good. I don't have a problem with it. Gaming just for fun news. I know this isn't Xenoblade, but what happened to Dragon Quest on Nintendo consoles? I don't know. Well, there's a new Dragon Quest. There's a Theorhythm game that came out. And okay, you said consoles. They haven't localized Dragon Quest. They've been releasing new versions of Dragon Quest Online, and they haven't released any of them in the States. So I don't know what happened. There's been no release date. There's been no localization. They're all out in Japan. Like recently, the newest Dragon Quest version has actually been selling really well. Okay, first of all, screw you, Terminator. Screw you and your stupid question, okay? But I'm not talking to you. See, you screwed this guy's question up. But hopefully, we get a localization for Dragon Quest X in North America and Europe pretty soon here. So this buster, Terminator Juice, how bad are the 49ers going to be this year? So okay, so let me tell you guys something here. All right, my 49ers. My 49ers are They're going to be better, okay? They're going to be better than they were last year because last year they were playing for a lame duck coach. This year they're going to be better because this year they're going to have Kaepernick as a new and improved quarterback. He worked with a quarterback guru in Arizona, worked with Kurt Warner, Super Bowl winning quarterback. So the 49ers are definitely going to be better this year. Another thing that I do want to say is the 49ers have 4 good running backs, okay? They got the greatest rugby player of all time came over, and he's a running back on the 49ers, okay? We've got Carlos Hyde. He's a good running back, very big. He's slimmed down by 20 pounds, okay? So he's probably running a 4.5 at this point, and he's 6'2", like 6'1", something like that, huge, okay? We've got receivers. We got Torrey Smith, Super Bowl champion from the Baltimore Ravens, okay? We've got Vernon Davis. That's gonna let him get some routes, okay? We got some speed there. We don't need Crabtree anymore. That's okay. We still got Anquan Bolden. We still got people. We got Reggie Bush, okay? He's at the end of his career, but Reggie Bush is still one of the fastest players in the league. So we got Reggie Bush for kickoff returns and for swinging them out of the backfield. So we still got a solid offensive line. We lost a potty, but we still got a solid offensive line. So are the Niners going to be bad this year? Yes. Are they going to be as bad as they were last year? No. They're going to be, I think, 9-7 or 10-6, and they're going to squeak into the playoffs this year. That's my breakdown. Terminator, douchebag. Next question comes. Let's get back to Xenoblade. Next question comes from Retro Death. I wasn't here from the start, but if you unlock the scales, have you unlocked the scales yet? And how high can you fly? Yes, I've unlocked the scales. I barely unlocked them, and you can fly super high into the air. I don't know any meters, but you saw it in the treehouse or whatever, or in one of the videos. You can fly super high. I mean, I don't even know if there's a ceiling, but you can fly really high. Next question comes from Bart Vanderberg. I heard that you get the best gear by fighting monsters. Is that true? Not necessarily. You can also create really awesome gear too. So if you mean by fighting monsters to get materials to create them, then yes. If you mean just by drops, that's just random. So just really depends. Next question comes from Terminator Juice. I bet my Lions will have a better record than the 49ers this year. Maybe. Maybe not. maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? We got to wait. The NFL is crazy. You never know what's going to happen in the NFL, man. So just going to have to wait and see. Okay, it looks like we've answered all the questions here. Thank you so much. That was about a solid hour. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you want more content, if you like these live streams, let me know that you guys like them. So that's really important. Drop a comment below. And really just stay tuned to all the Xenoblade Chronicles X footage that we have coming up here. Like I said, I'm going to be wrapping things up by the time the Splatoon comes out. And yes, Retro Death, I will do a segment of seeing how high you can fly with the scales. I will do something like that. Just stay tuned to all the content we have here. Like I said, I'm not going to be spoiling all of the game for you guys. This is all the stuff that I'm doing is really just the beginning. And once Splatoon comes out, you guys are going to get some different coverage. And there is going to be regular videos. I have 4 videos that I need to edit that basically just gaming discussion videos. So trust me, there's going to be more than just Xenoblade Chronicles. I just really want to get this content out there, just so when new games come out, I'll be like, hey, there's all your Xenoblade content for all you guys that love Xenoblade. So that's that. All right, so that basically wraps it up for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out PlayerEssence.com. I'll be updating it around 6 p.m. or so tonight. So there'll be new articles going up on the site, but I got to take care of the family at this point. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys and all the questions you guys have. I have the best fan base on YouTube. Don't care about subscribers. Don't care how much I have. You guys are the best, and that's for real. I'm being honest. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.